Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss it. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
So a little about codependent navigating. Codependency is an umbrella term holding several versions of a series of behaviors. At the crux of it, codependency in my mind is behaviors that shield you from being more authentic and true to yourself in a healthy way. We are not being our authentic self if we don't value ourselves as much as we value others, and it's part of navigating other people. Due to how we are raised in childhood trauma, we might be totally removed from what healthy authenticity looks like, which is perfectly okay. It's okay if you don't have a frame of reference for that. I didn't. I did a video recently on codependency, spelling it all out in various forms. You can check that out. There'll be a link in the description. The behavior I'm calling navigating is really about going around something in a detour as opposed to taking it directly on. It looks like going around something that is potentially dangerous to our inner child because they really have had no modeling of what being direct looks like. They probably assume that being direct is to be mean. And it can also be fear of not knowing what's going to happen after we're direct, like fear of the unknown. So we're not codependently navigating when we're not so concerned with how we're being perceived and how we are also allowing others to have their reactions. Being direct while managing our fears is the opposite of navigating. So here goes. We'll outline the types of the codependent navigating, where it comes from in our childhood, and how to work on it with our inner child to be relating more authentically with others. So let's dive in. The first one is what I call kill them with kindness. Remember that example about the spaghetti in the beginning of the video? That's what I mean by kill them with kindness. This kind of navigating is really about being totally accommodating and totally selfless. And it involves kind of unintentionally, we're kind of overwhelming others, overwhelming the recipient by trying to be of service to them. As childhood trauma survivors, we'll do this with anyone who is in authority, or we'll do that in friendships, or with new romantic partners especially, or people who are new to us, or even flat out strangers. And again, it's coming from a place of either worrying about the person being mad that you're not sensitive enough. That's probably going to be familiar to your childhood for many of you.
Man, he's cooking. He's talking about how wounds will cause you to try to manage other people. The management is misplaced. Therefore, it is mismanaged. You have to manage self. Self-regulation, where you have to regulate your own emotions. You have to be aware that the emotions are out of sync, and you have to learn to regulate those emotions. You have to regulate your responses or reactions. Do you see? The unhealed becomes an RPM, a relationship project manager, seeking to manage, control, and unfortunately, in many cases, manipulate their partners in order to stay safe. The guy was just outlining what people with anxious, preoccupied attachment styles do. Let me show up and show you that, I got your back. Because I don't want you to feel like I'm not sensitive to your situation, and that would ultimately make you leave me. Do you see? Do you see the inauthenticity in the act when it's ultimately designed to keep you from leaving? Relationship project managers. Do you understand? Relationship as a means to an end, mistaking toxic reassurance for genuine interest, not knowing when enough is enough, enthralled with toxic attentiveness. What is toxic attentive? Toxic reassurance acts as both a avoidant / narcissistic spiritual binding agent and a self-fulfilling prophecy. For those struggling with self-love deficiency, Ross Rosenberg calls it SLDD, self-love deficient disorder, which he classifies self-love deficiency, i.e. codependency, as a type of addiction. It may manifest as an addiction to praise and flattery, combined with the existential dread of a resentful spirit. Misunderstandings with toxic reassurance comes as a pernicious side effect of narcissistic abuse and family scapegoating. That resentment is a seed that sprouts from self-abandonment, resulting in the following. Anxiety surrounding control developed to the point of vulnerability to micromanagement. Let me say it again. Anxiety surrounding control developed to the point of vulnerability to micromanagement. Working on the relationship becomes a substitute for inner work and provides a hopeful statement or a hopeful testament, to the spiritually naive. Now, let me go back. Working on the relationship. What did I just say? It's mismanaged when you're seeking to manage another. The only relational project manager there should be is the intrapersonal one. We're focused on the interpersonal one. If they act in accordance to what my wounds require, then we're good. See, working on the relationship becomes a substitute for inner work. Inner work is the only work a relationship needs. How many of you think, man, if my partner could just get it right, if they would just change, if they would just grow up a little bit, if they would just mature, if they would just adjust, shift, adapt, everything is on them. When you're having a conversation with them, they can go from A to Z with what's wrong with you. But the moment you ask, I do it all the time. It's a game to me now. I meet people, I go, hey, can you name 3 things about yourself that makes you undateable and unrelatable? Wait, huh? Wait. I could talk about my ex. No, I'm saying, can you name 3 things about yourself that makes you unrelatable and thus undateable? Huh? They ain't spent no time looking at themselves because they think the management belongs on the person, not themselves. Relationship management is not synonymous with secure partnerships that foster growth and connection. It dictates that partners seek to consume, condition, and control others rather than reflecting in love. This creates a perpetual placeholder relationship dynamic. The good old faithful archetype that that may possess longevity but lacks adaptability and transformation, and the transformation needed to ascend to a higher level of consciousness and thus a higher level of relating. Very interesting. Many of us have become relational project managers because it's easy to manage external situations, people, places, and things than it is to manage the internal situation, which is that relationship, that poor relationship you have with yourself. Knowledge of self, as the great Krishna Ji would say. John from Mountain View, get back in here, man. We were talking.
Yes, sir.
And we were talking about the languaging, and I was talking about the limitations of language. And you were basically saying, enough of that. Sometimes you got to go back to square one. Let me tell you something. Sometimes you got to bring a giant spiritual bell wherever there is low consciousness and ring that damn thing. Because one thing you can't do after the bell is rung, you can't unring it. And sometimes people got to hear it in ways they never heard it before. That's how we expand. That's how we grow. Maybe you can push back on me with this a little bit, because what I find is a lot of people will avoid, oh, that's too deep. Oh, those words, the words are too high. They did it to Obama. Oh, he speaks too eloquently. Oh, my God. What happens is that's a justification for not listening to the truth. In a lot of ways.
True indeed.
In a lot of ways, people want to avoid it. Like, say it the way I say it. Speak it in my language. Sometimes you got to speak it the way it just comes out. And it comes out and it rings a bell. And you'll find amongst the people that you thought all spoke the same language, some of them speak the language you speak in. And those are the people that message was destined for. Do you understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But again, your pushback, not everything on a higher level is better.
Ooh, I like this. Go deeper. Say more. Expand on that thought.
I expand because your statements that you made earlier sound like the application of, we're both driving on the highway. You're facing me, I'm facing you. Mm-hmm. You have your bright lights on, I have my bright lights off. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If I'm trying to control the outside of you, I'm going to flash my lights until I get to you.
To let me know my lights are on or off.
You are blinding me as I'm coming towards you.
My lights are on, but your lights are off. But you flashing me to let me know, hey man, your high beams are on. I'm with you.
But in the same instance, for those of us who grow on the internal, because again, you're not going to see the middle finger that I give you while I'm doing all this stuff. You're not going to see me cussing and why in the hell and all this other stuff that's externally influencing me.
Right.
You're not going to see none of that.
I love
but
it.
I'm acting a plumb fool with these headlights on, flashing you, and the internal thing would tell me he will pass me in 5 seconds.
I love it. Yeah. Yeah.
So again, I don't want to degrade the higher purpose, the higher words, or the higher echelon. I know I'm not at that level. Yeah, but I know I can interpret that.
Yeah, but then I don't think you understand. If you can interpret the level you're not on, then how are you not on the level you are able to interpret?
This is where we understand growth, boss.
Listen, you on the level. I'm not going to allow you to do that. You will not besmirch your own name, sir. I'm not going to.
Sir. Some of us are okay with average.
No.
Some of us search for greatness.
Yeah, but
and some of us. Go ahead.
No, because you're saying something so powerful. I gotta say this. Did you know spirituality is boring? To the average.
I do.
No, to the average person.
I do.
Right? And when we talk about higher consciousness, let's just get into that, right? Because you said higher consciousness might not be better or might not be as good as, say, lower consciousness. Well, in the lower consciousness fields, that's where we have desire. That's where we have, what's the other thing? Stimulation. We have all of these feelings, and oftentimes they're not controlled. They don't have... they're sporadic. They're all over the place, right? So there's disorganization in that feeling. Spirituality, on the other hand, reaches, and this is coming from years and years and years of research and study and practice. When you get to a certain level consciously, everything just slows down. There's no need to do anything because you enter the space of being. Does that make sense? Isness. There's a sense of... I don't need to go somewhere in order, most of us have to go do something in order to connect spiritually. We have to be a part of something, an event. Something has to happen for us to go, wow, look at that. Look at this moment. Wow. Whereas the spiritual person is in that moment, and whatever it took for them to get there, when they come back to the moments that we all share here together with one another, you know what they say? Well, it's time for me to get back into meditation because this is boring here. Whereas the person who hasn't reached that level of consciousness will say, you're just sitting there. How is what you're doing better? Man, I just saw Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was at the Hollywood Bowl. I was picnicking with my lady. We was at the beach. They didn't have to do any of that because they've reached a level of consciousness that brings them into what they call oneness with the source of all that is. Now, you help me understand this, Pastor John. I need you.
Sir,
I'm about to ask you this question, and then you got the floor.
Go ahead, sir.
These folk can reach a certain level of consciousness that brings them into the presence of God. I just watched the 10 Commandments. I just watched it today. If you can come into the presence of God, how would it feel once you got to come back here? Talk to me.
Well, the presence of the Almighty, the presence of the All-Powerful, the presence of God will make you again sit down.
Sit down. I love it.
And there is no other understanding of that, because in the presence of the Almighty is all things. The love you're looking for is there. The blessing that you're looking for is there. The peace that you're looking for is there. So why would you want to come back?
Come on, keep going.
The presence that we call ourselves, and I'm only going to say this because I don't want to become you. I feel like my Oz is coming on. Because I'm like, I'm on the screw it then side of the game.
Why me?
I'm on the screw it then side of the game.
Screw it then.
I told you already. I don't want to put I don't want to put these clothes on no more.
Right. I hear you, brother.
I don't want this life. But again, for me to be here and to bless others, and if that's all that it takes, then I'm going back to basics.
I'm going back to the
because I know you love me there.
Man, I love you, period, brother. You've been here the whole time. That's why I feel like this is a game shifter in terms of talk radio. No one has ever pulled quantum mechanics, philosophy, psychology, spirituality, shamanism. No one's ever pulled it all together into a coherent synthesis of concepts. We do that here. And it is necessary that we continue to put our foot on everybody's neck. Why? Because guess what? If I don't, I got a grandbaby waiting for me, at my daughter's house right now. My granddaughter is over there waiting. What kind of world is she going to grow up in if we don't do this work? I'm already seeing what's happening to Generation Z and the millennials. What's going to happen if her grandfather's voice is extinguished? Stay with me. When we come forward, me and John go cook one more again.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, and it's almost time to celebrate KBLA's 4th anniversary, coming up Juneteenth 2025. We'll be marking the achievement with 4 key community events, including a special symposium, luncheon, and brain trust hosted by me entitled The State of Black Women in Los Angeles. Keep it locked here for details on how to join us for this groundbreaking symposium examining the unique challenges, triumphs, and contributions of Black women in Los Angeles in the areas of education, healthcare, community leadership, cultural and political contributions. This public convocation will provide a critical forum to address the specific social, economic, and political realities facing Black women in LA today. We'll go live with a radio broadcast and YouTube live stream, a public discussion, and a private dialogue with some of LA's most impactful women. It's an affirmation of Black women standing at the intersection of race and gender in times of adversity while demonstrating remarkable resilience and leadership. We will listen and we will speak out and be heard, all in service of finding opportunities and solutions. Please plan to join us in celebrating our 4th anniversary by amplifying the voices of Black women. For more on our symposium and 4 events celebrating 4 years on the air, simply stay tuned or keep an eye on KBLA1580.com and help make this Juneteenth more jubilant with all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
When you communicate with others, let's say about political situation or whatever it may be, we communicate verbally or in writing, or just have a monologue in your head. People have monologues in their head. This is normal. The important thing to avoid so that ego doesn't come in is again to make other human beings wrong, to make wrong who they are. I'm not talking about what they do, but to make wrong who they are. There is a difference. You can criticize what a person says or does, but if you then use whatever this person says or does and say that is his or her identity, then you've created an enemy in your mind, and that is a dangerous thing to do because it strengthens the unconsciousness in the collective energy field and produces a corresponding reactive effect in the other, and then there's a mutual strengthening of that, and that leads to huge conflict. And you get more and more trapped in your ego and in being right. So if you can take action and communicate, take action without having your sense of self invested in it, so that you point out your perspective, you explain it, you substantiate it, you illustrate it. This is how I see it, this is how the situation is, this is what we need to do or be careful of. All this is fine. You can attack another person's point of view or perspective without attacking who that person is. You can attack because that is and you don't.
That's the great Eckhart Tolle. Warning against ad hominem attacks. Don't attack the person. Attack the perspective, the point. Oftentimes that gets lost in the sauce in those intimate relationships where conflict arises. Let me get my brother back in here. Pastor John, Mountain View, Hawaii. Please, brother, give me your final thoughts and your summation of this topic tonight.
Well, let's answer the question that I was left on hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Unfortunately, this is a cold piece of work, but at the same time, it is God's promise to all of us. And even sometimes he has to take the one who protects, manages, rules, guides, and even takes care of the little ones that we're supposed to be here for. Because again, who's got the charge? Yes, it's your responsibility for the time that you have. But unfortunately, that too you must release.
Oof.
Ready? I look at my own daughters and see the same thing. One who is currently going through a divorce, the other one who's just starting her relationship with a new person.
Wow. One is at the end of a journey, one is at the beginning of another journey, and these journeys will continue, right?
As I've been told, you hold on loosely.
Hold on loosely. That's a bar. Hey, John, guess what you just did, man?
Mountain View's in the house. Blessings to all. God bless you too, sir.
Thank you, brother. Man. Love you too, man. Hey, I love it. You want to call in, talk to your brother Zoe Williams? Let's get it done. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. When we come forward, we're going to Pensacola, Florida.
Slow it down and make it
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard with 4 things you should know from BIN News. 2 people are dead and 5 people hurt after a shooting around noon at Florida State University. The FSU police chief says the gunman is a current student at the school. The 20-year-old shooter is the son of a sheriff's deputy and had access to one of her weapons. The Supreme Court will hear arguments on birthright citizenship next month. President Trump signed an executive order ending automatic birthright citizenship as enshrined in the Constitution's 14th Amendment. Just days before municipal runoff elections are held in Mississippi, Democratic U.S. Representative Benny Thompson, who is black, announced his endorsement of State Senator John Horn over black incumbent Chokwe Antar Lumumba for mayor of the city of Jackson. And Kodak Black reportedly has paid rent for more than 200 residents at a Florida housing community. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Change the way you see the world at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. Depart from their new Safari Excursions Depot and embark on a once-in-a-lifetime experience you'll never forget. Plus, every adventure helps support wildlife worldwide. Plan your visit to the San Diego Zoo Safari Park today.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less, of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is Stevie Wonder, calling on Los Angeles property owners to help get unhoused veterans off the street. If you're a property owner or know someone who is, consider accepting veteran housing vouchers. You will receive guaranteed rent while providing a stable and safe home. Help end veteran homelessness and make a real difference in people's lives.
Learn more by emailing houseourvets@lacity.org.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen.
And this is Sarah Beth.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese,
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay, things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Only Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Only Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at promise you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Only indulgent moisture body wash.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I can't deny the fact that I spend my time with you. But lately even little shit got me losing my grip. And there's something we gotta do. Now either you stop going to my pockets late at night, getting caught up in what you might find. Baby, I got love for you, but I might have to fall back, even though you usually spend the night. What in the world are we doing? Spending so much time, what is it, girl? What in the world are we doing? I guess all I know is that, alright, it's a beautiful thing to get love. A beautiful thing to get love. This is a beautiful thing, but what in the world are we doing? Sometimes you got me feeling like I got a personal angel.
We like to talk about law of attraction because it is the vibrational engine that manages everything. And we can't talk about law of attraction without talking about momentum, because there is a momentum in thought. And if you think a thought long enough, it becomes a strong habit of thought. It's what you call beliefs. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So sometimes you have beliefs that do not serve you. But when you first awaken, those beliefs are quiet enough that you can find a fresh one that comes from source, that is about who you really are and what you really know.
Come on. That's Esther Abraham Hicks. She be cooking. I ain't gonna lie. You know, sometimes I'm like, you know, it's sometimes. But she cooked on that one. You know, becoming a vibrational match. Thought, word, and deed. Many of us are a walking, living, breathing cognitive dissonance, right? We think one thing, do another thing, you know, believe another way, you know. Thought, word, and deed. What we say, what we do, and what we think. It's very interesting, man. And what I do know is if we don't get to the core, right, of what makes us tick, or what's preventing us from ticking from within, there's a propensity to be able to grow into this, you know, hypothetical relationship project manager, where now I've got to micromanage my woman, or she's trying to micromanage him, right? Her man, or whatever the relationship dynamic might be, the micromanaging of it all. And that was the point of tonight's topic. The relationship project manager. Are you being toxically reassured? A deeper look at how toxic family structures destroy or distort your need for validation. Are they really into you, or are you just being managed, right? And that's going to happen. We've got callers on the line. I want to get them in here. Nzinga from Pensacola, Florida is in the building. Nzinga. what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Hey, good evening, everybody. I think that the constant reassurance can be toxic, but there are healthy sides to reassurance in a relationship. But it normally is mutual. It's not one-sided. And I think that's where the toxicity can come in. And it can become burdensome to a partner if they need to consistently reassure you. It's almost like I didn't Google the name, but it's like those people that, have a phobia of going outside. And the remedy is, me reassuring you, then they can come out the closet or, come outside. But it's not sustainable, especially when it's, coming from an external place. And it has to come from within, because I think the healthy reassurance in a relationship often, from my experience, based on experience, is like in actions. It's not necessarily them always consistently having to verbally reassure me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Using your behavior as a means to reassure versus just always speaking it. I get it. I understand.
Yeah, like, I forgot to wash the dishes and, I didn't forget. I just didn't feel like it. But, you get up in the morning and it's taken care of. It's like, oh, I'm going to give you a hug later. Thank you. Little things like that.
Right.
But I think on the other side of that consistent reassurance is somebody can withhold it, and it can be used as like a toxic reward system.
Back to that intermittent reinforcement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying, you have to be careful, especially because, like you always say, in the beginning of a relationship, people wear masks, so sometimes you don't really know whose hands you're in. And so if you're looking for something externally, somebody can, people can sense that. They can see it in you.
Oh, wait. That was big. Wait, let's go back to that. Sometimes you don't know whose hands you're in. That's what you said, right? Okay, but if you are in your own hands, would it matter? I'm saying, would it then matter who else's hands you're in if you're in your own hands?
But in this instance, when somebody's seeking something externally,
yes,
then they're not in their own hands.
Right.
And so you can, if you're not in your own hands, you can, it's like that game you used to play in school with that big, like, blanket and the ball, and you, or like when you're little, somebody's in the middle of it and they're just, all the students are around and they're throwing the blanket up and down and the person's bouncing. You don't know where you're going to land, especially if you don't have if you're not grounded
right
in yourself.
But would you say that a person who is doing all of these performative tasks, right, performative reassurance, trying to gain something from someone who are, and using your terms, not in their own hands, and thus putting in a position to not know whose hands they're actually in, would you say that whole experience would lead them to that revelation, which is what John was saying?
It can.
Talk to me.
It can. Because, not everybody has a light bulb moment. If you have the light bulb moment and, you have that when you're at that crossroad or you're dealing with somebody and, I guess you have the straw that broke the camel's back, or just that, that happens, and it's like, oh, I'm looking to you for it, but it's always been in me. Some people don't have that moment. And so they're on this hamster wheel of, do you love me? Do you accept me?
Right.
Am I pretty? Am I beautiful? It's just like this hamster wheel.
Especially the anxiously attached folk are like that. For sure. Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you love me?
I definitely.
Let me know. Tell me all day. Tell me every day. Tell me in the morning. Tell me at lunch. Tell me at night. tell me in my dreams. Like the anxious folks are like that for sure. Yeah.
But it's never enough, and I think, you run the risk of you can lose a partner, you can lose, people can view you differently. So I think, it's just best to, like Allstate, just be in your own hands.
Be like Allstate, be in your own, girl. I love you, Nzinga. I really do. I appreciate that bar. Guess what you just did?
Brought Pensacola in the building. Have a good night.
Pensacola, Florida is in the building. Hey, Nzinga said like Allstate, be in your own hands. And I think that kills the Disney, metaphor, because Disney said somebody was going to be Prince Charming or Princess Charming. Disney said that. But, yeah, I think the intrapersonal relationship is definitely, I won't say more important, but I do know that intrapersonal relationship you have with yourself definitely projects outward and calls in a mirror image of it. I think that's tough. If you haven't done any work, my goodness, you're going to call in an incomplete lesson and it's going to be a struggle. Great call in, Nzinga. All right, look, when we come forward, we going to Vallejo. Come on, yay area in the house.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it. Together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
I want to review this because it is very important that we keep this in mind. What is the basic principle of meditation? You have read in the autobiography of a yogi. Guruji gives the definition of yoga according to Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Yoga is the neutralization or the stilling of the waves of consciousness. As Dayamataji referred to when she was here a couple of days ago, be still and know that I am God, quoting from the Bible. It is in that absolute stillness that we perceive or we realize what we really are. And then it says in the Yoga Sutras, then the devotee rests in his own pristine nature, soul, or God within. Now,
man, come on. Paramahansa Yogananda? The autobiography of a yogi. Talking about stillness. When we're unhealed, there's a restlessness, an inner restlessness. And we're always seeking an answer, a fix, a conclusion, a solution. And it's not always readily available. Externally speaking, of course. But only when we go inside and try to find this stillness that the great Paramahansa Yogananda spoke of. Let me get my caller in here. Tanya from Vallejo. Come on. What? Hey.
Hi, Charles. Like 60s funky worms with waves and perms, just sending junky rhythms right down your block. We beat to rap, what key beat to lock.
Come on, Tanya.
We beat to rap,
turn up.
Key beat to
Get
lock.
hyphy.
We beat to rap, what key beat to lock.
I'm in
We
here.
beat to rap, what key
In the
beat to
building.
lock. We beat to rap, what key beat to lock. We beat to rap, what key
I got my
beat to
second
lock.
win, pimp.
We beat to rap,
Hey,
what
folks.
key beat to lock. But
Rich Rock. I got my second win. Second with a BMA. Talk to him, P.
What up? Vallejo is in the house right now. We had to play your theme music for the city. Ooh.
Thank you, though. I know you're. Thank you for being a fan of the Bay Area. I love it.
We love the Bay. Come on, yee. Talk to us. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
So, one of the things that I wonder, like, when we talk about, codependency, or people that are codependent, how much do people vet? Are people out here vetting people like you're supposed to, whether it's personal or spiritual? Like, are we vetting people? Like, the people that I have vetted, I've known them from school. And I don't think I needed any more new friends after those, because I vetted them. I know how they work. I know how they operate. And then when I get to relationships, I have noticed that most of the people that I have met, I'll just say outside of my circle that I've vetted, are men. I've met more codependent men than I have met women. I'm just saying that's just in my circle.
And nobody can finna argue with you right now. I'm letting you cook with the greatest
in my
grease.
circle, like
yes,
I am the I'm very. I give you clarity. I'm upfront. You know what you're dealing with. It's nothing fake. And I think there is a tribute to being raised in an alpha male environment. But I noticed the men that I have met and I have a child by 2 men, very codependent. They depend on women. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean in a way that it's extreme. Like, they depend on the women for the reverse, the protection, the provider.
Wow.
The nurturer, the protector. When we get to that protection moment, it's like, okay, well, now something ain't right.
Something is wrong. Something is off. Right.
Something is wrong.
But
I never let it go past, like, even though I've had, okay, you know what? After I see what's happening, I'm gone.
So let me separate a couple of things. Hold on 1 second. I got to separate a couple of things. Codependency is not usury. Sounds like you're describing users. Codependency is when it's almost like somebody is chasing validation and meaning from someone, right? Codependency, to be in this toxic relationship. And I want to give you the clinical definition of it as well.
Okay.
But it's definitely not what you're describing. It sounds like you're describing the hobosexual. Somebody who just has no drive.
Nope.
The woman is taking care of him financially.
Nope.
Everything, right?
I'm not describing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's apt because I totally wouldn't end up with that type of individual.
So here's
here's
the codependency, because I want you to understand that it's slightly different. Codependency is a relationship pattern in which one person assumes responsibility for meeting another person's needs to the exclusion of acknowledging their own needs or feeling. So that's important. So that's the clinical definition, right?
Okay.
You are so focused, or they are so focused on everybody else's needs that it gets to the point where they exclude acknowledging their own needs. Now, does that definition fit?
That does.
What you were trying to say about you meet more codependent men?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Tanya, I wish you would have called in earlier. We at the end of the Tanya, I've been trying to get you in here.
I know.
Okay, listen.
But
next week
you've given me some gumbo right now.
Okay.
Like that,
okay. Next week is a new week.
Me
Am I gonna hear from you?
Something that Matt, what you just gave to me.
Yes.
I need that seasoning.
Okay, but am I gonna hear from you next week? Because I got to hear from you.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, you will, though.
All right, we love you. Listen, we started the conversation. It's up to you to finish it. We don't know anything about anything, but we know how to get a conversation started. Hey, this is my Friday. I'll see you next week with a whole new slew of slappers. Deuces.
I'm ready for love. Your kiss, the sweet embrace. I'll never be safe. Are you my dream come true? You just do me so. Won't let go.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Black New York Attorney General Letitia James is accused of mortgage fraud by the Federal Housing Finance Agency. The White House referred the case to the DOJ, but no charges have been filed yet. James previously